Hey, welcome to the Pandemic Talk Show. I'm Justin Kaufman. It is May 5th, 2020. We're glad to be back on this week. We got a great show lined up. Ryan Dempster, former Chicago Cubs 17-game winner, is here. Also, we'll hear from Ryan Asher from Second City and many, many more. All right. But we first start the show the way we want to do this is we want to start with a performance and hear from the band Rookie, the great band Rookie, which is, having a great couple of years, is Chris Devlin. He's going to start us off. Chris, take it away.
See the rain trickle down the panes and the thunder really collides, but still in my heart is the very right space when I'm wandering in my mind. Hope Jimmy's alright, hope that everything's fine, yeah. I don't see my friends all the time, no one's stopping by, no one stopped by here in a very long while, but only they know why. Will they see them light when they say, oh yeah, that's fine? Will they see the light in the light of, oh yeah, that's fine, oh yeah, that's fine, oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go. Woohoo! Chris Devlin from the band Rookie, kicking off the Pandemic Talk Show live here on Cinco de Mayo 2020. It's time for the Pandemic Talk Show.
Live from Chicago, Illinois, home of Harry Schmerler, your singing Ford dealer, it's the Pandemic Talk Show, featuring TJ Shanoff and the Stay-at-Home Orchestra. Today's guests from the Chicago Cubs, Ryan Dempster, Second City alum Ryan Asher, and from the band Rookie, Chris Devlin. And now, rockabye baby, your host, Justin Kaufman.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, it's the Pandemic Talk Show here on Tuesday the 5th. Good to have you with us. We're with you every Tuesday through Thursday here in Chicago, I guess on Facebook and YouTube and wherever else we can. TJ's back. Good to see you, buddy.
Barely made it.
Barely made it.
I had to go from one bathroom to my home has two bathrooms.
All right, there you go. Goldie, how are you? Why don't we start with Goldie? Goldie, how are you? You got the question of the day to kick it off for the people who have been very engaged with us on YouTube, right?
We've been engaging with people on the Facebook. We've been engaging on the YouTube, less so on the YouTube, more on the Facebooks. But on the Facebook, people can engage with us live anytime, and I'm working on my multitasking here. And today we have a question of the day, as we now always do. We have a couple of Ryans on the show today, Ryan Dempster, Ryan Asher. And we were thinking, who's your favorite Ryan of all time? Obviously, beyond those two, who should be everybody's favorite. But who's your favorite Ryan of all time?
Okay, it could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be Chicago.
Anyone.
Anywhere.
Yeah. Or your least favorite. If there's a Ryan, if you don't have a Ryan you're fond of, who's your least favorite Ryan? But who's your favorite Ryan? That's a question for our viewers today.
Yeah, I would say it depends on. Buddy Ryan has to come to mind, right? It's a
Buddy Ryan is up there at the top.
Can you use last names? That would be good.
I'll allow Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, isn't there a Ryan on the Bulls right now? Isn't there a Ryan Arcidiacono?
Right, there's a Ryan, but I can't pronounce his name.
Arcidiacono people.
I mean, it's a team on the. They're a team on the come.
They are. TJ Shanoff, how are you, buddy?
Hey, in honor of Okay, little song for you folks. Corona, Obama, Pizzagate, Benghazi, Liberty, and 5G. Who'll cut my hair for me? Obama, Benghazi. Did I say Benghazi? Benghazi, Obama, Fozzie. I could go on all day. Hi, everybody.
I love it. I love it.
I'm
I love
working
that
on. What's that?
I was going to say, I love how you've repurposed Benghazi. You found a way to continue to use Benghazi in your song. And that's very creative, very creative.
It's the original virus. Hey, by the way, can I just say real quick, what an honor. We have Ryan Dempster on the show. We have Ryan Asher, the BAM rookie. Who knew we had Bryant Big Country Reeves doing our announcing? Big Country, it is so good to see you. Where have you been since 98?
I think TJ is referring to me. I'm cosplaying today. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Cosplaying as a Vancouver Grizzlies fan in honor of the Canadian baseball pitcher who's going to be on the show today.
Ryan Dempster's coming up, and I'm looking forward to talking to Ryan because he's obviously had a tremendous career as an analyst and what he does at Marquee Network and all that. But I just going back to some of those days. I mean, you guys are the diehard Cub fans in the room. They had quite a squad that rarely gets talked about in the mid to late 2000s, right? I really felt like with Derek Lee and Ryan Dempster and Zambrano, they had a squad that gets overlooked because they didn't do so well in the playoffs.
I think it was a lack of playoff performance, but that was a powerhouse of a team. You still had when Sammy Sosa could still hit the scoreboard.
Who was on that team? Was Soriano on that team? Was it Alfonso Soriano and Derek Lee and all those guys?
Yep. Ramirez. A couple of the guys are still playing, right? Is Rich Hill still playing? He's still pitching.
38-year-old Rich Hill.
He gets a couple of 2 innings. He gets 2 innings in, and then something's wrong with his finger. He's got blister. He takes a couple months off, and he's back for the playoffs. That's how Rich Hill works.
And speaking of those great Cubs teams, my favorite Ryan of all time, it's actually a tie. Number 1, Saving Private, and number 2, Terrio.
The
Riot.
Oh, there you go. The Riot. There you go. All right, Scott, give us a read.
I want to just make clear one thing. Someone is talking on there as the Pandemic Talk Show on Facebook, and I have no idea who it is. But they're talking about Leon Lee and
it's probably Mike. Maybe it's Mike Fouché, or maybe it's Brad Spearson.
If there's a reference to Derek Lee's creepy father, it's Brad Spearson. I want to make that very clear.
All right. Well, they're just making sure.
All right, give us a break here, quick, Goldie, and then we'll get to Ryan Dempster.
Are you wondering how to support unemployed service workers in these hard times? If you don't know how to give directly to your favorite servers from your regular spots, go to chicagoservicerelief.com for a list of fundraisers for local service workers. If you're a service worker in need, the 50/50 Restaurant Group is providing 400 meals a day at Westtown Bakery and Diner, partnered with the Lee Initiative, Chef Edward Lee, and Maker's Mark, and they're serving meals and groceries from 4 p.m. to 6:30 every day of the week. The 50/50 Sports Bar is serving meals to anyone in need from 4 p.m. to 6:30 every day except Mondays. No documentation or paperwork required. Just show up and take a free meal if you're in need. This initiative is funded by an anonymous Chicago tech CEO and online donations at givebutter.com/5050food. So far, they provided over 20,000 meals to people in need. And right now, we've got some love for the Dan Ryan Expressway, Ryan Gosling, Ryan Sandberg, and then the Pandemic Talk Show. Whoever's controlling that account is talking quite a bit.
I saw today, speaking of that read, going off of what you were reading about, I saw Mike Puente, a great reporter at WBEZ. He took a camera, I think it was in Northwest Indiana, where a farm there had said that they were going to give away eggs for free. And the line was miles and miles long of cars trying to get eggs for free. And it made you go, oh my gosh, this is like strange. But then I'm like, the amount of money you're spending in gas to get that carton of eggs for free seems like it didn't work out in the math in my head. I mean, the line was like, he just took a camera and it was like people just idling in their cars to get a dozen eggs. It was like, I don't know what's happening.
You know,
like free, I got eggs.
It was almost Earth Day. You can help the environment by making your own eggs at home.
I mean, that's where we're at, I guess. All right, our first guest today here at the Pandemic
running
Talk
in
Show.
Indiana for cheap cigarettes
and eggs, right? Yeah.
I was just saying, the people have been doing cheap cigarettes and gas for years over there.
Right. Our first guest is a longtime Chicago Cub. He's a 17-game winner in 2000. I think it was 2008, maybe a little earlier. But he, of course, an all-star and also the host of Off the Mound. with Ryan Dempster on the Marquee Network. Give it up for Ryan Dempster. Yeah.
Yes.
Here it comes. Yeah.
One of the great piano songs of all time, Jump, for Ryan Dempster.
Yes, that is the intro to many a memory of Wrigley Field watched from my bedroom in Gibson's, British Columbia.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yes.
See? How are you? Thanks for, where are you at? Are you in Chicago sheltering in place or are you somewhere else?
I am. I was up close to Goldie there. I was up in Lake Geneva for 40 days and finally made my way back down to the city for some reason. But it is nice to be home and I'm in my basement right now.
This was going to be the season, it still is, but this was going to be the season where we got the full off the mound experience. I mean, tell us about Off the Mound, because this is a late night TV. This is like a late night show that you're doing.
Yeah.
And this marquee was going to be a big deal. We just haven't had the games yet.
Yeah, we were excited. We had done a bunch of them through live studio stuff, festivals, Cubs conventions, things like that. And we were going to be bringing it to stage 773 right there in, Wrigleyville, Lincoln Park area. And unfortunately, due to coronavirus, COVID-19, we are not doing it. So I just thought, well, why not call up some buddies? I was actually playing poker with Scott. And I was like, let me just go through the Rolodex and see who's down with this and who would want to do it. It turns out guys have free time. So they were in.
For you,
Chipped 5-1, but I did come back to win that game.
He did. It was incredible.
do you have a better appreciation of the media now that you're part of the media than when you were a player?
Yeah, I think I always had honestly, I had an appreciation for what they had to do anyways. It's not easy going into that locker room with a bunch of guys, and having to ask the question. I learned really on, I asked a reporter, I go, when I have a bad game, why are you asking me, did you feel good out there or how'd you feel? And he's like, cause I got to get your words. I can't just think what you felt or how you felt. And so I kind of understood it, and I understood that they had a job to do. And that's why I think, as a player, that was always my responsibility to be at my locker and answer those tough questions, even when you don't want to do it. But, being on the other side of it now, it is, because it's like, I try to not put these guys in a tough position and ask them a question where they get done and they're like, thanks, Dump, you just threw me under the bus, especially in today's Twitter world where, the haters come out in bunches. So it was, I do have a really good appreciation, especially for like journalists who get those tough questions, or, reporters get those tough answers. It's not easy, and it's definitely, I'm just in the beginning stages of hopefully a long journey.
It's fun to watch last night. ESPN did the Korean baseball opening day.
Yeah.
And they showed a lot of the stuff. And I was watching, Tyler Saladino was like up there, and I was midnight watching it. So I'm like, oh, this is great. It's like some Chicago connections. But the game played without an audience or without spectators. It seems like that might be the way that the Major League Baseball may go when they get back on the field. How do you look at that?
The White Sox have been doing that for many years.
Hey,
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the idea of, as a former player, but also someone who is an ambassador for the game, about getting back on the field without spectators?
Yeah, I was just going to say, he said the White Sox. I came up with the 98 Marlins. I pitched in front of 104 people against the Expos, so I know what that's like. I think it's important that we're just playing baseball, and it's going to suck to not have fans, but at the same time, to be able to be out on the field and for players playing, for us sitting at home to be able to turn on a TV and watch our favorite players playing a game. Baseball's been this like big cure for so many things, right? Like they went away to war in World War II, and the women started their league and had this, people went in droves because it was baseball was being played. After 9/11, the magical home run by Mike Piazza at Shea Stadium, it was baseball that started rallying people back. And tough day on a Friday, what did you do? You bolted out early and went to Wrigley Field for a cold beer, hot dog, and just take in the game, because that relieves stress. And we don't have that right now, and it sucks. And so I'll take a baseball game with no fans versus waiting till we can have fans, and then one day we'll get back to having fans in the stands.
There was so much made of canceling the Olympics with the athletes being on a schedule and a routine. The idea that they needed so much time to lead up to Olympics game for their training and the regimen. Is it similar for professional athletes, like baseball players? Is there going to be a ramp up time for them to get into the flow before we even say play ball?
Yeah, it won't be as long as it normally was because these guys were already throwing and hitting, and most of them have continued to do that. You know, they continue to play catch, hit off a tee, hit in their cage, whatever they've been doing. So I think you'll probably look like a condensed version, like 3 or 4 weeks max versus what it was. But you're definitely going to have some sort of spring training. And I'll tell you what, the guys who went home and continued to work out and do their thing, they're going to start out of the gate on fire and kind of ahead of the guys who weren't doing that.
Yeah, I think they got to come up with some gimmicks if there's not going to be, you know, the sausage races and the Dunkin' Donuts races and things at the stadium.
You know what's going to be fun is like every year you see it. There's always like, you know, the team that nobody expected to be in it, and
Right.
like July 1st, that team's in it because it's, you know, a 3 month, and then they get injuries and they don't have the depth. You're going to have like 4 or 5 teams. You'd be like, what? Arizona's in first place over the Dodgers? This is amazing.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Kansas City, like holy cow, like it's going to be really cool to see these teams that nobody expected. Like the Blue Jays got a chance in the AL East right now. It's awesome.
You're right. That July 1st, it's for all those parts. That's Hope Springs Eternal, right? That should be Hope Summer Eternal or something like that. All right. Before we let you go, I was talking to these guys beforehand, and I always want to get it from you. And I know that you've talked about this before, but I've always, as a baseball fan, love baseball. You are one of the only pitchers I've ever seen mess with your glove when you would come to the mound. I mean, you do a thing where you do this guy, and I was always like, are you the smartest guy, or or is it a gimmick? I mean, is it actually working? So where'd that come from? Because I always was so curious about you being one of the only baseball players in the history of the game that has messed with his mitt like that.
Okay, so I was throwing a bullpen in Mesa, Arizona, before spring training, like in middle of January. And I was Tyler Colvin, outfielder that we had. He was up. He's like, you mind if I stand in? So he just wanted to track some pitches. And when I got in my glove like this, my hand in my glove, if you watched I had to dig in to get a split grip. I really had to get in there. So when I was in my glove like this, when I'd switch from my split to my slider, you could see my wrist go like this. And so we got done, and he was like, hey, I can see when I don't know if it's a fastball or slider, but I know it's no longer a split. And I was like, whoa. So I went home that night, and Kevin Millar, a good friend of mine, I was like, dude, what do I do, man? Like, I'm tipping that, but I don't have fingers to go in. He goes, just wiggle your glove a little. So I just started this little glove wiggle, and then next thing you know, I had Tourette's of the glove, and, you know, it was like, guys were like, man, what is that thing you're doing? It messes with me. And I was like, that wasn't what it was for, but the fact that it's messing with you, cool, man. I love it.
It works.
Yeah.
I always thought it was just some sort of mind game you were playing with some of those big hitters, but that's great.
I always said I was a big sweater. You know, I perspirated a lot on the mound. It cooled me off too. So it was
there you go.
a win-win situation.
The show's called Off the Mound, and you're doing a lot of Zooms like this, which is great. Yeah. And hopefully we'll get to see it when the season starts in some form, in some way that you'll make it happen. And you also do so much great charitable work around town, and we'll make sure to put that up. Ryan Dempster, such a pleasure to have you here on the Pandemic Talk Show. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
There
See you later.
How great is this guy? Ryan Dempster's one of the best. How great was that? That's great. Goldie, I can't believe you're playing poker with him.
Yeah, well, you know, he had me out chip 5-1, but I came back to win. I was proud of it.
Are you a sunglasses kind of guy? Do you wear sunglasses?
No, I talk the whole time. I tell people what I have. I tell people not to call me. I tell people to fold. Nobody ever listens. They think if you're telling them the truth, they're so used to deception that if you tell people the truth, they don't trust it. So that's all I do. How
about you, TJ? You play cards? Are you a big poker guy?
No, you know what? The risk I take is called life, son. I'm from the streets. I'm from the near north side. You want to fight? I'll prove it when this thing's over. I'm going to get my shower. I'll see you.
You'll fight, and you'll pay $9 an hour for parking.
No, why not? I'll pay more. I love the north side.
All right, let's get a read in here, and then we're good. I want to catch up with an out-of-work protester, or get back to work protester, and of course, we're going to get back to Chris from Rookie, the band Rookie, coming up here on the Pandemic.
And a word from our sponsor. Well, it was just 420 for an entire month, but it's just the beginning for the cannabis industry, and grownin.com is the news and information resource for those in the cannabis industry and those looking more. Grown In is a proud sponsor of the Pandemic Talk Show and a terrific place for you to learn about the ins and outs of Illinois' newest essential industry. Curious about MSOs, craft grows, and the latest in industry news? Be in the know and get in the grow with Grown In. Subscribe today at grownin.com.
Yeah.
That's reading.
Over the weekend, I felt bad about this, not because I cared about society, but I wanted to make fun of it. But they had all the protests on Friday. I think it was at this Thompson Center. We don't do Fridays on this show. And I was like, because that protest was hilarious because there were like 300 people down there. And what surfaced was, of course, some a-hole putting up some German language on a protest sign, the words that were above the door in Auschwitz, work will set you free, as a protest sign. Somehow referencing the Holocaust would be a good idea. It went viral, of course, a terrible idea. And it even got up to the point where, every politician and their brother gets to talk about it now and admonish everything, when it comes to hate in these protests. So I just felt bad we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I'm very happy now to introduce our own get back to work protester, Karen, who has been a pretty vocal protester. Right? She's been pretty vocal, right? I see her on the news all the time. So Karen, welcome to the Pandemic Talk Show. There she is.
Hi, can you see me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, that's yeah.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, is this some sort of libtard Democrat show I'm on?
No, we try to be objective. I think TJ would say we're an objective observer, right?
Yeah, some of us are still very angry about Benghazi, Karen.
Yes, some of us are. Thank you very much. I don't have much time because I got to go back out to the streets to protest. Okay. Yeah, I made a new sign though. Do you want to see my new sign?
Yeah, we loved it, right? We want to see. Let's see.
Sure.
It says, "I need to get my whole wax." That's essential, America. That's essential.
Which hole? Is that the front or the back hole?
I'm gonna be honest. What's happening down there? It's all kind of one, and that's why I need to get it back.
That's a good record. So for you, you've been going to the protests. You really want people to get back to work. Are you getting back to work? Why be out there on the streets?
I don't work. I stay home. My husband works. Okay, but he's been in my house too long. I need him to get back to work. Do you understand? I protest. I'm out there. We tailgate. We throw parties. Okay, out there. It's been really fun. But the thing for me is I need the people to be essential back at work. The waxing place. I need to get my whole waxed. I need to go to Marshall's, TJ Maxx, get my freedom candles. Have you smelled a freedom candle before?
I
haven't, no. Yeah.
You think it smells like KFC and ammo? Okay, that's what it smells like. And I'm out. I think
Are you worried about?
back to work.
Are you social distancing when you go to protests? Are you worried about that and flattening the curve and all that?
Flatten the curve? You want me to believe there's a curve just like you want me to believe that the earth is round. And I'm not gonna. It's flat and it's held up on Jesus's love, okay? I don't social distance. That's what the snowflakes want me to do. I'm going to my Christian swingers party tonight, no matter what you want.
Mm-hmm. So you're just saying, you know what? I'm taking my own health into my own hands. I'm going for it.
I drank the bleach. I did do that. I blacked out for a full week, shitting green. I swear to God. I swear to God. If that's what the president wants, that's what I'm going to do.
Right. So I would assume you think the president's doing a good job right now. The president.
He's amazing. Yeah.
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 Do you think he's being treated unfairly, Karen? Is the president getting just a real raw deal right now?
My girl, yes, Diva, go off. Okay. It's these little millennial libtards out there trying to be woke. Go back to sleep. That's what I say. Jesus.
I have to say, for you not to have. Go ahead. Say it again, Goldie.
Will you take a vaccine, and when there is a vaccine, Karen?
You think I want my baby to have problems, no vaccine? The only thing we need is Windex and mayonnaise. Okay.
I was gonna say, what I want to say was, for someone who hasn't been to the salon in a while, you look good. The hair looks good. Kind of looks on point, right?
Thank you so much. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And I do hate to be emotional, but this is a wig. My natural
Impossible to
hair is
tell.
coming in right here. This is a wig.
Oh, we didn't want to make you cry. I'm sorry.
And I just want to look good for all the men out there. First of all, thank you so much for letting me be on this man show.
Yeah, it's very, very man.
Yes, and I do want to say that my favorite Ryan would have to be Meg.
Perfect. All right, well, Karen, I feel bad that we made you cry. I hope you get out and protest today, get to see the sunshine, whatever it might be. But I think the world does need you on the front lines.
Thank you so much. Thank you for spreading the good word. And just one more time, I need to get my hole waxed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Karen, our Get Back to Work protester. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you for gender balancing us, Karen.
Karen looks a lot like an older aunt version of Ryan Asher from Second City. Do you see that, or is that just me? Like an aunt.
There's
like
a
an
resemblance.
aunt.
Slight resemblance.
Yeah. Very talented Ryan Asher.
The great Ryan Asher.
She's great. Karen, not so much. But I'm just saying they kind of look together. You never see them in the same place.
Oddly enough, Ryan Asher wears more patriotic garb in person. She's way more of an outward patriot than Karen was.
Far more lipstick on her teeth, too.
Yes.
Right. All right. Well, my next guest, you already saw him. Yeah, you already saw him at the top of the show. Chris Devlin, who is the guitar player and a big part of the band Rookie. The band Rookie's on Bloodshot Records. And to give you an idea, they're kind of like a 70s, 80s, I would say rock band, really bringing it back. So much so that they've toured with, listen to this. You'll like this, Goldie. They toured with Cheap Trick. That was like one of the things. They did Twin Peaks is another band. And there was another band they were going to open for, and it all got wrecked by this coronavirus. Like the idea that these guys are on the up and up. They're a Chicago band, great.
The cusp of greatness.
But ladies and gentlemen, welcome Chris Devlin back from the band Rookie.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. There he is. What's up, buddy? Here we are. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. That was cool to see the Ryans get busy there.
So the band is, like I said, I mean, you airplay, listen to you on XRT and other places, and of course the great opening act. You've been opening for so many great acts, but you guys were poised to take the next step, and concerts just went away. Talk about that.
Yeah, man. A lot of dreams were coming true. My high school 10-year anniversary is coming up, and I was like, I'm definitely going. And then this hit, and I'm like, I'm definitely not going. Because it all started to come together there for a minute. So
yeah. So what do you do? What does the band do in this kind of situation when you guys are obviously getting used to being on the road and you know your profile's getting bigger and bigger? What do you do when everything has to stop?
Well, right now as a band, we're staying apart because we're following the shelter-in-place orders, and some of us are with parents and grandparents or have loved ones that are immunocompromised or just elderly. So you never know with, meeting up, just even us six, like who knows what happened at the grocery store yesterday. So it's been really tough for us, but we'll probably get together soon. I'm not sure.
You know, I kind of joked with you at the beginning, which thank you for the performance at the beginning of the show, but the idea that you are working from home is not necessarily out of practice because you are one of the best producers in town and you do stuff out of your house. You've been doing it for years. So how does it change? Obviously, are people like, Chris knows how to work out of his house, or is it different because you can't leave?
It is different because even though I'm home, I'm not letting anyone in. So that's a start. And then I'm not sure, man. I don't know. I'm not working from home, but thankfully I started a construction job. So been doing that for a couple weeks.
Have you really?
Yeah. So excuse my performance. I hit myself with a hammer maybe 6 to 10 times in the past couple of weeks.
Intentionally?
Yeah, of course. I'm trying to get out of it. I don't want
Rock
to
and
work.
roll lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
Are you guys adapting to the virtual world? I know that you guys did something last night. You got other gigs and other charity kind of shows that you want to do coming up here. Are you adapting the fact that you can't be in the same place, but you still need to be out there?
Yeah, kind of unwillingly adapting. I mean, we'd much rather be just being, performers playing rock music rather than trying to figure out a new way to do it. But yeah, we're all doing the live streams and trying to promote our charities of choice. There's mine. You can
We'll
go
put
to
that up on the
y'all that are watching.
ChicagoHouse.org. Yeah.
And
What is Chicago House?
yeah.
What is that? Explain that to us.
Oh, this is an LGBTQ plus organization in Chicago that will help anyone that needs some housing, food, anything. They do everything, and it's also related to HIV and AIDS support.
You guys have really kind of brought back that Chicago rock sound. We've had a spell of hip hop, but also sort of more like an indie rock kind of sound that was coming out of Chicago. You guys have brought it back, and a lot of people will compare you to an early Cheap Trick and bands like that in the 70s. Is that what you're looking for? Is that the sound that Rookie's looking for?
Yeah, pretty much. I thought Robbie Folks put it on your show real eloquently. You don't want to be a revivalist, but you come from somewhere, from what you listen to. So we definitely are rooted in, tube amplifiers and tape machines and stuff. So it does send us back a little bit to the 60s, 70s vibe, automatically, just with the enthusiasm for certain types of equipment and stuff like that.
Do you feel,
searching for
I was just say, do you feel Chicago audiences can relate to that? Do you feel like that's like in our blood in any way? Because those bands in the 70s and 80s were Chicago, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, I hope so. I certainly hope so. I wanted to. If they don't like it yet, I hope they start to.
Okay, so can we get one more song out of you? Do you got a song out of you?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Chris Devlin is the guitar player for the band Rookie, and of course you can check out that site. We'll put it on the link here, and also you can check them out. They're all over the place, and they're Bloodshot Records as well. What are we going to hear here, Chris?
This is Fool's Gold. So this is a song that I wrote and I lead sing for the band right now, but it's not on the first record. So if you want to hear some stuff, go buy our record.
All right, there we go.
Everything was good
Yeah, it is. Chris Devlin from the band Rookie. These guys are up and coming. Check them out, Bloodshot Records. And I'm telling you, man, you're going to be hearing all about these guys once this bullshit virus is over.
Yeah.
Check you out. Open it up for all the bands. Chris, can't thank you enough for joining us on the Pandemic Talk Show. Appreciate it. Man.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Wow,
Chris.
Rookie.
Great
song.
job.
There it is.
Hell
Check
yeah.
out the Chicago House too. All right, well that's it for the Pandemic Talk Show. Be back tomorrow. Mitchell Fain's going to join us, and Iman Loren, who used to be the poet laureate of Chicago, the youth poet laureate. 19, I think she's like maybe 21 now, so she's aged out of it. But like, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do with YouTube. Coming up next is that one video that somebody made that's just a dub over of a Pokemon. That's next. It's the Pandemic Talk Show. See you later.
You never know what surprises live broadcast.